Hey memorizers, Anthony Metivier here. I get a lot of questions about coming up with enough stations inside of individual memory palaces. That's part of a sort of two-question stage. One is, how do I get lots of memory palaces? And the second is, how do I get enough stations inside of memory palaces? And there are many ways, and here's just one of them that's pretty cool. It uses superheroes. Basically, a lot of people throughout history, going back a long time, have talked about using different body parts to store information. So for example, if you think of your own head as a memory palace, you can build a journey with a relatively decent number of stations in the following way. Start at the top of your head, move to your forehead, left ear, left temple, left side of your nose, tip of your nose, right side of your nose, going to the right temple, the right ear, down to the right jawbone. You can go around to the cheek, right cheek, the upper lip, the lower lip, the chin, then to the right cheek and the right jawbone. And from there you can work your way down to the neck. You can go right arm, chest, left arm, stomach, right leg, left leg. I caution you to avoid crossing your own path so that you're not spending unnecessary mental energy as you move from station to station in the memory palace, picking up the words that you've memorized. And of course, you're really only going to need that to do that very temporarily following that journey to rehearse the words that you've memorized there. If you're using something like the magnetic memory method to memorize foreign language vocabulary, but nonetheless, you just really don't want to cross your own path. And that's pretty simple to do if you spend a very small amount of time preparing and predetermining your journey along these parts of your body. Now, I don't know about you, but I only have one body. And so that means that, I can use it in a pinch. But in terms of finding more stations inside of a memory palace, well, like I said, I only got one of me, and it would get confusing pretty quickly if I cloned myself like Mr. Smith in The Matrix or something like that. So imagine the following. You've got a memory palace in your house. Maybe it's the house you're in right now. And you've got a bookcase in one of the rooms. And let's say that it's a real bookcase, although it certainly could be an imagined bookcase if you followed some of the writing I've done on how to use virtual memory palaces and virtual memory palace elements. Now, let's say you got a bookcase, and you imagine that you have a line of superheroes on one of the shelves. Batman, Superman, Thor, Hulk, whoever you're familiar with. If each of these superheroes had 10 or more stations on each of them, you can imagine that your individual stations inside of this one bookcase alone would pile up rather quickly and be very effective and easy to use. And as for how to work it out for yourself, this is going to require a bit of personal experimentation, of course. Which parts of the body you want to use of the superhero. You could be very microscopic, like I've suggested, with the right side of the nose and the left side of the nose and the tip of the nose, or you can just simply use the nose. That may work. Different people have different ways of finding effective methods for storing information, macro and micro memorizers. There's just so many possibilities here, and you can actually repeat the figures on bookcases from room to room to room, because the room itself will tell you that you're in a different location, and you can actually use those superheroes again. Now, the obvious question is, what if you don't like or know any superheroes? Well, you're probably not, listening to me right now if that's the case, but there's really no problem if you are and you don't like superheroes. Maybe you even hate them. You could use ice skaters because maybe you're a big fan of ice skaters. If you're a political person, you could use politicians. You could use actors if you like movies and plays. You could use cartoon characters that don't fly or have capes or special weapons like superheroes, so Donald Duck or something like that. You could use your favorite toys as a kid, G.I. Joe. You could use your friends. You could use your enemies. Now, before I go, I should say that if you are interested in dozens, if not hundreds, more ideas like this that will help you improve and master the ability to use mnemonics, memory palaces, and other memorization strategies to memorize foreign language vocabulary so you can recall it with much greater ease than you will ever accomplish with rote learning, here's what you can do right now. Over the years, I've developed a complete practical and language learning oriented memorization program containing great ideas you can use immediately to improve your vocabulary memorization skills and speak more fluently as a result, and just simply think more fluently on top of that. And in my full home study program, which I call How to Learn and Memorize the Vocabulary of Any Language You Want Using the Magnetic Memory Method, you get more than 4 solid hours of video training and 400 pages of reading material, checklists, and worksheets to increase your vocabulary in any language you may be studying and boost your fluency. And I mean really boost your fluency in a very short period of time. And in this course, you're going to learn the best ways to build memory palaces for learning and memorizing foreign language vocabulary using a simple 3-step formula. And we've learned a little bit about that already. So you're going to learn a simple method for memorizing inside of the memory palaces that you create, the genders and the cases of different words. You'll learn the most important words to focus on so that your boosts in vocabulary are meaningful and instantly useful in conversations. And you'll learn to systematically divide words into component parts so that you're not even going to know what each word means after you've learned and memorized it, but you're ultimately, after practicing this principle of word division that I teach, you're ultimately going to be able to often guess what new words probably mean, even if you haven't heard them before. That's kind of a magnetic effect that occurs from using the principle of word division as I teach it. You also learned how to put together a real knockout vocabulary memorization schedule that will give you dozens of new words every time you practice, and I hope you will practice every day, because the more you practice, the more you'll get very, very good at this method, and the more vocabulary you'll be able to put in your mind and retain and recall. So I've given you a schedule that teaches you how to do that, and it's a schedule of putting the words in your mind and then rehearsing them in a way that's really virtually automatic. It's very thrilling and it's very fun, and it uses your creativity and your personality and elements of your own life that you connect together with the words you want to learn. And there's much, much, much more. So please visit my video course using the link below today. Watch the promo video and the free lesson it contains. Join the course and start benefiting right away. Now, I personally guarantee that you will be delighted with this program and that it will help you memorize dozens of words every time you study your dream foreign language using the magnetic memory method, so you can try it for an entire 30 days. If you're not satisfied for any reason, in fact, if you're not overjoyed with the course itself, the supplementary material, the bonuses, and the ongoing updated training that I add to the course all the time, I insist that you send it back to me for a full refund. You know, the magnetic memory method has been used by thousands of language learners, and most of them previously considered themselves the owners of a bad memory. In fact, even the best world memory champions will tell you that they all have a bad memory. They have terrible memories. What makes the people who have had success using memorization strategies different from those who haven't is that they've trained their minds in particular ways. And the magnetic memory method is the only course that exists that uses mnemonic strategies in a way that is specifically dedicated to learning foreign language vocabulary. And the people who have used it have made real strides in acquiring new languages based on the advanced memorization skills they have learned from the magnetic memory method. And remember, anything that someone else has done, you can do as well, as long as you learn how. So this program, How to Learn and Memorize the Vocabulary of Any Language You Want, will give you a series of step-by-step formulas to build a successful network of memory palaces that will allow you to memorize and recall foreign language vocabulary at will. So go ahead, check out that link below and join the course today, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.